Morning for you, not so much from a weather perspective here as we start off. And our main story in advanced tracking through the weekend is it is remaining very dry. We are going to be looking at near record highs. It's hard to believe, but that's what we're going to be dealing with here in the short term, and much warmer mornings. We felt that this morning. That's a trend that has continued. As you look at this wildfire smoke, and it's really hazy outside, and part of that has to do with the warmer air and the fact that we have that in place, but also there's some pretty good haze, and I think you're going to see that from a milky sunrise and sunset perspective. We have a lot of upper level smoke. This is not at the surface. This is above the surface, but we still have some pretty good thick wildfire smoke, particularly in Indiana and parts of Kentucky, but also right over the top of us. And that's why as the sun has risen, you saw probably could almost look at the sun for the first 10 minutes it was up, just because the wildfire smoke is that thick at the horizon. And I would expect that over the next few hours, as we get closer to sunset, there will be some breaks, but yeah, it's going to be still pretty thick. Temps at 69 degrees right now in St. Louis, 73 in Rolla, many spots already in the 70s. And keep in mind, just days ago, we were talking about 40s and even 30s in some cases. Yeah, that's the main difference here for us here at this time. Now, from a standpoint of cloud cover, we just don't have much. Other than the milky, hazy sunrise, we're not going to see much. Clouds are around. You'll see the main story. And I want to point out one of the reasons why we have this wildfire smoke. These are wildfires out west. And when we talk about what's going on, notice how all this cloud cover continues to work its way right over the top of this. This is where the upper level wind is, and that's where we're seeing more of that. So as we have any of these wildfires out west, the upper level wind carries all that smoke and it continues to work its way closer to our area. And that's really the main reason that we have this pattern. But at the same token, we're going to see that high that settles in, and that kind of moves that upper level wind as well. Other than a few high clouds that develop this afternoon, not much will happen. Temps still in the upper 80s, right around 90 degrees, and we're not going to cool off all that much either. That's going to be really something that we look at and talk about tomorrow morning, because we're going to be in the mid 60s again for our lows. That means we'll be even warmer when I talk to you exactly 24 hours from now at this point. Here's where I was talking about, right? And you can kind of see this, and I'll point it out once again, but from a standpoint of where this stuff is moving, I'll point this out again. You can see pretty much where the upper level wind is, right? This is where pretty much all the wildfires are at this moment, right? Wildfires somewhere out to the west right there. And generally you're seeing pretty much everything move right over the top of this high. That's where the upper level wind is, and advanced tracking, I'll erase that and show where this high moves, right? So you can see where the upper level wind continues to push closer to central Indiana, and this high is parked right over the top of us. Well, there's no upper level wind there, there's no movement, but that's the core of that heat by Saturday and Sunday, and that's why with our average temperatures being some 82, 83 degrees at this date, we're some 10 to 15 degrees above that. Let's look at Saturday. We've talked about this for several days. Sunday as well. Monday into Tuesday, it will be very warm next week. There's no doubt about that. And we're going to see that from a pretty persistent basis. This is the updated drought monitor, and I promised that I would share this with you. Every Thursday it is updated here from the Drought Monitoring Center here. And one thing that stands out is there are a lot of spots on the dry category, but look at more moderate spots. And in fact, more of the areas out west in Gasconade, also into parts of the south, are starting to get that. And we also have severe drought. Let's see if we can zoom in and see specific cities that are now classified under that severe drought. And Mount Vernon, obviously one of them, and I want to zoom in just a little bit more, and you can see where some of these, and see if these labels pop up for me. But you're looking at some of these spots where, in Clay County, Illinois, Jefferson County, Illinois, many of these spots are dealing with that. And, from a standpoint of the counties that are involved in that, look all the way from Mount Vernon, almost all the way across the river from near St. Genevieve. This is a pretty good line, right? And a lot of these classifications in drought from dry, moderate, and severe really have to do with localized rainfall, right? Soil moisture, things like that. So as dry as we have been, we're not going to get much rain. I know it hasn't been very dry, very wet at any point recently, but some of the spots have gotten a little more rain, some of those localized rainfall totals. We have not seen a heavy amount of rain, and futurecast rain all the way through the 19th tells us that's not going to change. Now, I do have some limited opportunities for rain, but they're not great. One of them starts Monday. But for Friday, 94 degrees. We're at 98 on Saturday, 97 on Sunday. Temperatures warming up close to 100 degrees. The records are in the low 100s, so we'll be close to either tying on some of them, but still, it's hot and dry. Notice those overnight lows in the low 70s. They continue to come up. mid 80s. And really, I think we have a slight chance for rain on Thursday as a front passes through. But once again, Monday and Thursday, those are our best bets, and they're not great. And that really has to do with the fact that we have no moisture available. So this drought continues to worsen, but our weather is hot and dry.